When things get tough because of AI and robots and lots of people losing their jobs in the computer world, Sarah and Richard start thinking, how do we deal with this problem? Join them on a fun trip through the old stories of money and find out how to stay strong during the tough times, no matter who you are. From the very rich to the poor people, from the students to the workers, from the people who work with computers to those who work with money, they talk about how to deal with money problems, especially during an economic depression. It's going to be a fun time, so get ready for it. Economic crashes, a brief tour through history's depressions. Well, Richard, have you ever taken a ride on the economic roller coaster?
Oh, you mean the wild ride through the ups and downs of financial history? Buckle up, Sarah, because it's a real doozy.
Absolutely. Let's hop on this roller coaster and take a whirlwind tour through all the economic depressions in history. Hang on tight.
All right, first stop, the Great Depression of the 1930s. Picture this, the stock market crashing like a ton of bricks, banks going belly up, and folks lining up for bread like it's going out of style.
Yes, the good old days of dust bowls and soup kitchens. As Mark Twain once said, the lack of money is the root of all evil.
Ain't that the truth? But just when you thought things couldn't get any worse, here comes the Panic of 1837. Hitting like a ton of bricks and sending the economy into a tailspin.
Talk about a roller coaster ride. And let's not forget about the dot-com bubble burst of 2000. It was like watching a balloon deflate in slow motion.
Oh, I remember it well. It was like trying to catch a falling knife, but you know what they say. Sarah, in times of great stress or adversity, it's always best to keep busy. To plow your anger and your energy into something positive.
Wise words indeed, Richard. And speaking of adversity, who could forget the financial crisis of 2008? It hit us like a freight train, leaving millions without homes and jobs.
Ah, yes, the good old housing bubble bursting. It was like trying to unscramble eggs, but you know what they say. Sarah, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
Amen to that, Richard. And now, on to the most recent bump in the road, the COVID-19 pandemic. It's like a magnet, attracting chaos and uncertainty wherever it goes.
Absolutely, Sarah, but as they say, tough times don't last. But tough people do. So, what's our takeaway from this wild ride through economic history?
Well, Richard, it's clear that economic depressions are like a roller coaster. They have their ups and downs, twists and turns. But with resilience, humor, and a dash of Mark Twain wisdom, we can weather any storm that comes our way.
That's true, Sarah. Let's keep riding this economic roller coaster with our heads held high and our wallets strapped tight.
You got it, Richard. And remember, folks, in the words of Mark Twain, courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not absence of fear.
Well said, Sarah. Now, onto the next adventure on this wild ride called life.
Turning hard times into gold, lessons from the Panic of 1837. Well, Mike, have you ever heard of the Panic of 1837?
You bet I have, Emily. That was a time when the economy took a nosedive faster than a lead balloon dropped from the sky.
That's true, Mike. It hit like a ton of bricks, sending folks into a tailspin of financial woes. But you know what they say, every cloud has a silver lining.
I agree with that, Emily. Despite the chaos and uncertainty, there were folks who managed to turn their fortunes around and come out on top.
On a similar note, Mike, let's talk about some of the success stories from that time. While many were feeling the pinch, there were entrepreneurs who saw opportunity in the midst of adversity.
By the way, Emily, I heard about this fella named John, who started a small textile business during the panic. Instead of letting fear paralyze him, he rolled up his sleeves and got to work.
That's right, Mike. John knew that tough times call for even tougher folks. He used the economic downturn as a springboard to launch his business, attracting customers like a magnet.
In connection with that, Emily, there were also folks who saw the panic as a chance to invest in new ventures. They knew that fortune favors the bold, so they took calculated risks and reaped the rewards.
Absolutely, Mike. It's like they say, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Those who adapted to the changing times and embraced innovation were able to thrive despite the odds.
So in summary, Emily, the panic of 1837 taught us an invaluable lesson. In times of economic turmoil, there's always opportunity for those with vision and determination.
That is true, Mike. Let's take inspiration from the resilience of those who came before us and use it to carve out our own path to success, no matter what challenges may come our way. Rising from the ashes, success stories from the Great Depression. Well, Brian, let's dive into this whole Great Depression thing. You know, it's like when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, right?
Ha, I wish it were that simple, Emily. The Great Depression was a dark time, no doubt about it. But hey, even in the midst of all that gloom, there were folks who managed to shine.
I agree with you. I mean, sure, times were tough, but some folks were like magnets for success, attracting opportunity left and right.
Yes, it's like they had this magical ability to turn adversity into adventure. Take Henry Ford, for example. While everyone else was crying over spilled milk, he was out there revolutionizing the automobile industry with his assembly line.
Exactly. And let's not forget about those who saw the stock market crash as a chance to snatch up bargains. People like John D. Rockefeller, who made a fortune in oil during those hard times.
True, true. But you know, it wasn't just about making money. It was also about resilience and innovation. Look at all the new businesses that sprouted up during that era. Companies like Hewlett-Packard and Disney, they all started during the Great Depression.
Oh, I hear you, Brian. And speaking of innovation, how about those New Deal programs? FDR's government initiatives helped lift the country out of the doldrums and set the stage for America's post-Depression economic dominance.
Absolutely. But let's not forget the real heroes here. The entrepreneurs. They were the ones who saw opportunity where others saw despair. They took risks, they hustled, and they came out on top.
You got that right, Brian. So, in the end, maybe the Great Depression wasn't so great after all. But hey, at least it taught us a valuable lesson, that even in our darkest hour, there's always a glimmer of hope, just waiting to be seized.
I agree with you, Emily. That is true.
Thriving in turbulent times, small business success during the Great Depression. Well, Brian, let's take a stroll down memory lane to the roaring 20s. Or should I say, the not-so-roaring 30s.
Ha, that's one way to put it, Emily. The Great Depression hit like a ton of bricks, but you know what they say. When the going gets tough, the tough get going.
Absolutely. And you know who really got going during those tough times? The small businesses and the middle class. They were like little lifeboats in a sea of economic turmoil.
That's true, Emily. While the big guys were drowning in debt, the small businesses were finding creative ways to stay afloat. Take Mrs. Thompson's bakery, for example. Instead of throwing in the towel, she started offering credit to her customers, and business boomed.
Ah, Mrs. Thompson, a true entrepreneur if I ever saw one. And let's not forget about Mr. Johnson down the street. He turned his struggling hardware store into a hub for community events, drawing in customers and keeping the cash flowing.
Smart move, Mr. Johnson. But you know, Emily, it wasn't just about survival, it was also about seizing opportunities. Take the Johnsons, for instance. They saw a gap in the market for affordable housing and started building houses, turning their small business into a thriving enterprise.
Ah, the American dream in action. And you know what they say, Brian, necessity is the mother of invention. The Great Depression forced people to get creative, and in doing so, they laid the groundwork for future success.
That's right, Emily. So, as we look back on those dark days, let's not forget the resilience and ingenuity of the small business owners and the middle class. They may have been battered by the storm, but they emerged stronger and wiser in the end.
Amen to that, Brian. That's true. Bright minds in dark times, innovation during the Great Depression. Well, Brian, have you ever stopped to think about all the brain power buzzing around during the Great Depression?
Brain power. In the midst of the worst economic downturn in history, you've got to be kidding me, Emily.
Oh, I kid you not, Brian. The Great Depression may have brought financial ruin, but it also sparked some of the greatest minds of the 20th century into action.
Like who, Emily? Name one genius who thrived during those bleak years.
How about the man himself, Albert Einstein? While the rest of the world was worrying about putting food on the table, Einstein was busy revolutionizing our understanding of the universe.
Einstein, during the Great Depression, what was he up to? Solving math problems for spare change.
Not quite, Brian. Einstein was working on his unified field theory, a grand idea that aimed to explain all the fundamental forces of nature in a single equation.
Unified field theory, huh? Sounds like something out of a sci-fi novel.
Well, it may sound like fiction, but Einstein was dead serious about it. And let's not forget about all the other scientists and inventors who were tinkering away in their garages, coming up with new inventions and discoveries.
All right, Emily, you've piqued my interest. What other brilliant minds were at work during the Great Depression?
How about Alexander Fleming, the man who discovered penicillin? His groundbreaking work in antibiotics saved countless lives and paved the way for modern medicine.
Penicillin, during the Great Depression. Now that's what I call turning lemons into lemonade.
Exactly, Brian. So, while the Great Depression may have cast a dark shadow over the world, it also brought out the brightest stars in the sky of human innovation.
Well, I'll be darned, Emily. You've given me a whole new perspective on the Great Depression. Who knew that in the midst of all that hardship, there were still rays of hope shining through?
That's the beauty of history, Brian. It's full of surprises, just waiting to be discovered, brightening the dark days. Artistic rising during the Great Depression. Brian, have you ever stopped to think about how art and culture flourished during the Great Depression?
Art and culture, during the toughest economic times in history. You must be pulling my leg, Emily.
Oh, I kid you not, Brian. Despite the hardships, artists, writers, and musicians found ways to lift people's spirits and bring some much-needed joy into their lives.
But how, Emily? How could they create beauty in the midst of such ugliness?
That's the magic of art, Brian. It has a way of transcending the troubles of the world and touching people's souls.
Touching people's souls, huh? Sounds a bit lofty to me, Emily.
Well, let me give you an example, Brian. Take the music of the era, for instance. Artists like Louis Armstrong and Duke Ellington brought the swing and jazz that made people forget their troubles and dance the night away.
Jazz music, during the Great Depression. I suppose laughter was in short supply too.
On the contrary, Brian, comedy thrived during those tough times. Comedians like Charlie Chaplin and the Marx Brothers provided much-needed comic relief, making people laugh until their troubles seemed a little less daunting.
All right, Emily, I'll admit, you've got a point there. But what about literature and art? How did they fit into the picture?
Literature and art, they were the heart and soul of the era, Brian. Writers like John Steinbeck and artists like Dorothea Lange captured the essence of the Great Depression through their words and images, giving voice to the struggles of the common man.
Well, I'll be darned, Emily. You've given me a whole new appreciation for the resilience of the human spirit. During those dark days.
That's the power of art, Brian. It has a way of shining brightest when everything else seems bleak. Enjoying through hard times, music during the Great Depression. Brian, have you ever heard about the music that echoed through the streets during the Great Depression?
Music during the Depression. I can't say I know much about that. Emily.
Well, buckle up, Brian, because you're in for a treat. Despite the tough times, the music of the 1930s was vibrant and full of life.
Vibrant, full of life. But how could that be, Emily?
Oh, let me tell you. Picture this: people gathered around radios in their homes, tapping their feet to the infectious rhythms of swing and jazz.
Swing and jazz, in the 1930s? You've got to be kidding me, Emily.
I kid you not, Brian. Artists like Benny Goodman and Count Basie brought the swing that made people forget their worries and dance the night away.
Well, I'll be darned. But what about the songs, Emily? Any memorable tunes from that time?
Oh, you bet. How about Sing, Sing, Sing by Benny Goodman? That song had folks swinging from the rafters, tapping their toes to the beat.
Sing, sing, sing. I think I've heard of that one before. What else you got?
Well, there's Summertime by George Gershwin. It's got that smooth, soulful vibe that just transports you to another place.
Summertime, huh, sounds like a tune I'd like to hear. Any others?
Oh, plenty more, Brian. How about Minnie the Moocher by Cab Calloway? It's got that jazzy, scatting style that just makes you want to get up and dance.
Minnie the Moocher, you say? That sounds like a real toe tapper. Emily.
You got that right, Brian. The music of the Great Depression may have been born out of hard times, but it sure knew how to lift people's spirits and bring a smile to their faces.
Well, I'll be darned, Emily. You've opened my eyes to a whole new world of music from the 1930s.
That's the power of music, Brian. It has a way of bringing people together and brightening even the darkest of days. Tech to art, exploring career transitions and the power of creativity. Hey Jashin, have you ever thought about switching from the tech industry to the world of art and creation?
Switching to art. Are you serious, Emma? What could techies possibly gain from diving into the world of art?
Oh, plenty, Jashin. Let me tell you, in the modern world, creativity is king. Techies have the advantage of thinking outside the box and problem solving, which are essential skills in the art world.
But what about job security, Emma? Isn't the tech industry more stable than the unpredictable world of art?
But therein lies the beauty, Jashin. The art world may seem unpredictable, but it's also ripe with opportunity. Take, for example, the success story of John, a former software engineer who traded in his code for a paintbrush and found success as an artist.
John, you say? I've never heard of him. How did he manage to make it in the art world?
Well, Jashin, John recognized the shift in society's values. In today's fast-paced world, people crave experiences and emotional connections. John tapped into this by creating stunning works of art that touched people's hearts and souls.
But what about the financial aspect, Emma? Can someone really make a living as an artist in this day and age?
Absolutely, Jashin. Art has the power to transcend language and culture, making it a valuable commodity in today's global marketplace. Just look at the rise of digital art and ENFs. They're revolutionizing the way we buy and sell art.
Well, I'll be darned, Emma. I never thought of it that way. But what about the role of art in our current world? Is it really as important as you say?
Oh, it's more important than ever, Jashin. Art has the power to bring people joy, inspire, change, and even heal. In today's stressful world, people are turning to art as a form of therapy and relaxation.
Therapy, you say? I never knew art had such healing powers, Emma.
Oh, it's true, Jashin. Art has the power to soothe the soul and lift the spirit. In fact, studies have shown that engaging with art can reduce stress levels and improve overall well-being.
Well, I'll be darned, Emma. You've certainly opened my eyes to the power of art in today's world.
That's the power of creativity, Jashin. It has the ability to transform lives and change the world for the better. Tech to art career transitions in the modern world. Hey there, Andrew. You know, I've been thinking a lot about how people in the tech industry are switching gears and diving headfirst into the world of art. It's quite a leap, don't you think?
Absolutely, Emma. It's like going from binary code to brush strokes, from algorithms to aesthetics. But is it really that simple? I mean, what are the advantages of making such a switch?
Well, for starters, tech-savvy individuals bring a fresh perspective to art. Their understanding of digital tools and platforms can revolutionize traditional art forms and open up new avenues for creative expression.
Fair point, Emma. But what about the disadvantages? I imagine there are challenges in transitioning from a structured tech environment to the more fluid world of art.
You're right, Andrew. One major hurdle is the risk involved. Tech jobs often come with stability and financial security, whereas pursuing art can be uncertain and financially demanding.
Exactly, Emma. And let's not forget about the success stories. I've heard of tech professionals who've made a seamless transition and found tremendous success in the art world. It's inspiring to see their journey unfold.
Absolutely. Take, for instance, the story of Alex, a former software engineer who discovered a passion for photography. With his technical expertise, he revolutionized the way images are captured and edited, earning accolades and recognition in the art community.
That's incredible, Emma. But what about the role of art in today's world? In an age dominated by technology, why do people still crave artistic experiences?
Andrew, art has a timeless allure. It speaks to our emotions, stimulates our imagination, and fosters human connection in ways that technology simply can't replicate. It brings joy, inspires change, and offers solace in times of adversity.
Well said, Emma. And let's not forget about the therapeutic benefits of art. Studies have shown that engaging in creative activities can reduce stress, improve mental health, and even enhance cognitive function.
Precisely, Andrew. In today's fast-paced world, finding time to enjoy art is more important than ever. Whether it's visiting galleries, attending concerts, or simply indulging in a good book, art nourishes the soul and enriches our lives in profound ways.
I couldn't agree more, Emma. So, in summary, while the transition from tech to art may pose challenges, it also presents exciting opportunities for personal growth, creativity, and fulfillment.
Spot on, Andrew. Here's to embracing the journey and embracing the beauty of art in all its forms.
Cheers to that, Emma.
Exploring the intersection of tech and art paid by outcome. Howdy, Michael. Have you ever pondered the idea of techies diving into the realm of art and culture?
Well, Emma, it's an intriguing thought. But isn't it like mixing oil and water? Tech is all about precision and logic, while art is about creativity and expression.
But therein lies the beauty. Imagine tech wizards infusing their logical prowess into creating captivating art. Plus, in the art world, you're often paid for the quality of your work, not the hours you put in. Isn't that a refreshing change from the clock-punching grind?
You've got a point there. Paid by outcome does seem like a more rewarding approach. But will techies be able to adapt to such a fluid system?
Adaptation is the name of the game, my friend. Besides, think about the benefits. Art has this incredible power to heal minds and nurture emotional intelligence. It's like therapy, but without the awkward silences.
I can see where you're coming from. Art has this magical ability to tap into our emotions and provide solace. But how does that fit into a tech-centric workplace?
Picture this, a company culture where creativity flourishes alongside innovation. Art installations, musical performances, poetry slams, they all contribute to a more vibrant and emotionally intelligent workspace.
Let me think. I suppose injecting a bit of creativity into the tech scene could spice things up. But are we talking about finger-painting sessions during lunch breaks?
Oh, Michael, you always go straight for the extremes. I'm talking about fostering a culture where art and tech complement each other, where employees feel inspired and fulfilled. It's about striking that perfect balance.
Well, I must admit, the idea of a workplace where creativity is valued just as much as productivity does sound enticing. Maybe there's more to this tech meets art concept than meets the eye.
And that, my dear Michael, is precisely why we should explore this intersection further. Who knows what wonders we might uncover when we blend the brilliance of tech with the magic of art, seizing opportunity in economic downturn. Well, folks, today we're setting sail on the choppy seas of economic turmoil, specifically the 2008 economic depression. Now, let me tell you, while it may have seemed like smooth sailing for some, others were left clinging to their life rafts. But what's the secret behind those who managed to thrive in the midst of the storm?
Sarah, it's like they say, in the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. Those who succeeded were the ones who could see beyond the crashing waves and spot the hidden treasures beneath the surface.
Spot on, James. Take, for example, the rise of tech giants like Airbnb and Uber. In the midst of the recession, they saw an opportunity to disrupt traditional industries and provide innovative solutions to emerging problems.
Absolutely. It's all about adaptability and seizing the moment. But let's not forget the ripple effects on society as a whole. Economic downturns have a way of reshaping the landscape, leading to shifts in consumer behavior and societal norms.
Indeed. Just think about how the gig economy exploded during that time, with more people turning to freelance work and alternative income streams. It forced individuals to rethink traditional career paths and embrace flexibility.
Wise words, Sarah. But what about the everyday folks struggling to stay afloat in rough waters? What's the best advice for them?
My friend, in times of hardship, it's essential to remember the words of Winston Churchill: if you're going through hell, keep going, seek out opportunities, tighten your belt where necessary, and above all, maintain a positive outlook. After all, as they say, the darkest hour is just before dawn.
Wise counsel, Sarah. It's all about weathering the storm and emerging stronger on the other side.
Whining economic challenges, the rise of freelance work and alternative income streams. Well, Adam, you know how they say, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. That's precisely what happened during the 2008 economic depression. People didn't just sit around lamenting their misfortune. They got creative and found alternative ways to earn a living.
Absolutely, Emma. It was a time of unprecedented innovation and adaptability. Freelance work saw a significant surge during that period. Individuals realized they could harness their skills and expertise to offer services on a freelance basis.
Exactly. Take Sarah, for instance. She was a graphic designer who found herself laid off during the recession. Instead of wallowing in despair, she tapped into freelance platforms like Upwork and Fiverr to offer her design services. Before she knew it, she was landing clients from all over the world.
And let's not forget about Tom. He was a marketing professional who decided to capitalize on the growing demand for digital marketing services through platforms like Freelancer and Guru. He started offering his expertise to businesses looking to boost their online presence.
It's fascinating how these platforms provided a gateway for people to monetize their skills, isn't it? But it wasn't just about freelancing. Many individuals explored other alternative income streams, like selling handmade crafts on Etsy or launching their own e-commerce stores.
Absolutely. The internet opened up endless possibilities for earning income outside the traditional 9-to-5 grind. And the best part, you had the flexibility to set your own schedule and work from anywhere in the world.
Of course, with great freedom comes great responsibility. Freelancers had to learn how to communicate effectively with clients, manage their time efficiently, and navigate the ups and downs of fluctuating income.
True, Emma. It wasn't always smooth sailing. But those who were willing to adapt and embrace change found success in unexpected places. It just goes to show that even in the darkest of times, there's always a glimmer of opportunity for those with the courage to seize it.
Absolutely, Adam. So, to all our viewers out there facing economic challenges, remember, when one door closes, another one opens. It's all about finding creative ways to thrive in adversity.
Well said, Emma. Here's to embracing change and carving out our own paths to success, no matter the circumstances.
A day in the life of a freelance music creator. Adam, have you ever wondered what it's like to live the life of a freelancer, especially one in the music industry?
You know, Emma, I've always been intrigued by the idea of pursuing a passion like music as a freelancer. But I imagine it's not all glitz and glamour, right?
Oh, you're spot on there, Adam. Let me paint you a picture of a typical day in the life of a freelance music creator, like our friend Sarah, the singer.
Please do, Emma. I'm all ears.
So, picture this: Sarah wakes up with the sun, ready to tackle another day of making beautiful music. She starts her morning with a warm cup of tea and some vocal exercises to keep her voice in tip-top shape.
Ah, the voice is the instrument of her trade, isn't it? How does she ensure her voice remains unique and captivating amidst all the noise out there?
Well, Adam, that's where Sarah's creativity shines through. She's always experimenting with different vocal techniques and styles, constantly pushing the boundaries to stand out from the crowd.
Impressive. But how does she manage to deliver high-quality audio to her clients?
That's where technology comes into play. Sarah uses state-of-the-art recording equipment and software to capture her vocals with crystal clarity. And get this, she even harnesses the power of AI to enhance her sound and create unique effects.
Fascinating. But I imagine juggling multiple projects and deadlines can be quite the challenge for a freelancer.
You hit the nail on the head, Adam. But Sarah's got it all under control. She's a master of time management, carefully scheduling her recording sessions and prioritizing her tasks to ensure she meets her clients' expectations every time.
I suppose being a freelancer requires a good deal of self-discipline and resilience, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, Adam. But it's all worth it when you're doing what you love and sharing your passion with the world. As they say, choose a job you love, and you will never have to work a day in your life.
Well said, Emma. Here's to Sarah and all the freelancers out there, crafting their own melodies and marching to the beat of their own drum.
Harmonizing voices, a singer's journey to perfection. Hey, Dad, I've been thinking a lot about my singing lately. I want to try out some new vocal techniques and styles to really set myself apart from the crowd.
That's fantastic, Sarah. It's always important to keep evolving and challenging yourself as an artist. What ideas do you have in mind?
Well, I've been doing some research, and I think experimenting with different vocal styles could really take my performance to the next level. I want to explore everything from soulful ballads to upbeat pop tunes.
That sounds like a great plan, Sarah. But you know, darling, there's something else we should consider too, your diet.
My diet? What does that have to do with singing, Dad?
Oh, it has everything to do with it, Sarah. Many successful singers follow a pescatarian diet, you know. It not only keeps them healthy and energized but also enhances their creativity and maintains their glowing complexion.
I never thought about that, but isn't it a bit extreme to change my entire diet just for my singing career?
Not at all, Sarah. Think of it as investing in your craft. Besides, who wouldn't want to have a voice as smooth as silk and skin as radiant as the sun?
I suppose you have a point, Dad, but I'm not sure I'm ready to give up burgers and fries just yet.
Fair enough, Sarah. Just remember, practice makes perfect. But a healthy diet can make all the difference too.
All right, Dad. I'll give it some thought. Thanks for always looking out for me.
Anytime, sweetheart. Now, let's work on hitting those high notes.
A singer's journey on YouTube. Hey, Dad. I've been thinking about starting my own music channel on YouTube. I want to share my songs and connect with more people through my music.
That sounds like a wonderful idea, Sarah. YouTube is a great platform for reaching a wider audience and showcasing your talent.
Yeah, but I'm a bit nervous about how to get more viewers and subscribers. It seems like there's so much competition out there.
Well, Sarah, remember what I've always told you. The most important thing is the quality of your content. Focus on creating original songs with meaningful lyrics and captivating melodies. If your music resonates with people, they'll keep coming back for more.
You're right, Dad. I'll make sure to put my heart and soul into every song I upload. But do you think I should also focus on other things, like marketing and promotion?
Of course, marketing is important too. But don't let it overshadow your passion for music. Authenticity shines through on YouTube. So stay true to yourself and your artistry.
Got it, Dad. Oh, and speaking of staying true to myself, I've been thinking about adopting a pescatarian diet. You know, fish and plant-based foods.
That's fantastic, Sarah. A healthy diet can do wonders for your energy levels and overall well-being. Plus, it's great for the environment too.
Yeah, I'm really excited to start this new chapter in my life. I'm going to be diligent about practicing my vocals every morning and honing my songwriting skills.
That's the spirit, Sarah, with talent, dedication, and a little bit of luck. I have no doubt you'll find success on YouTube.
Thanks, Dad. I couldn't do it without your support and encouragement.
Anytime, sweetheart. Now, let's get started on those song lyrics. We've got some magic to create.
Online business during COVID, from IT to restaurant. Well, Matthew, it looks like we're stuck indoors because of this crazy pandemic. I miss the hustle and bustle of the restaurant, don't you?
Oh, definitely, Sarah. But hey, at least we still have our IT skills to fall back on. We can't serve up meals in person. But maybe we can cook up some online business ideas instead.
True. But how on earth can we translate my restaurant skills to the online world?
Well, think about it, Sarah. You're a wizard in the kitchen. Why not share your culinary expertise with the world through online cooking classes or recipe tutorials?
That's not a bad idea, Matthew. I could teach people how to whip up some of our restaurant's signature dishes right in their own kitchens.
Exactly. And with your charming personality and knack for storytelling, I bet people would be lining up virtually, of course, to learn from you.
You always know how to boost my confidence, Matthew. But what about your IT skills? How can we leverage those online?
Well, I was thinking we could offer IT consulting services to small businesses transitioning to remote work. I could help them set up secure networks, troubleshoot technical issues, you name it.
That's brilliant, Matthew. With so many companies shifting to remote work, there's definitely a demand for IT support.
Exactly, and who knows? Maybe we'll even discover new opportunities and talents we never knew we had.
Well, if there's one thing this pandemic has taught us, it's that we're adaptable and resilient. We'll get through this together, one online business venture at a time.
That's true, Sarah. Now, let's get cooking, both literally and figuratively.
Dreaming big, expanding business ventures post-COVID. Matthew, darling, I've been thinking about your plan to buy another restaurant for our hotel business. Have you considered getting our sons involved?
Well, Sarah, I appreciate your input, but I'm not sure if our boys are ready for the responsibilities that come with managing a restaurant.
Oh, come on, Matthew. They're both smart and hardworking. Plus, it's about time we start grooming them to take over the family business someday.
I hear what you're saying, Sarah. But running a restaurant is no walk in the park. It requires experience, skill, and a lot of dedication, things our boys may not fully understand yet.
But isn't that the point, Matthew? We have to give them the chance to learn and grow. Who knows, they might surprise us with their talents and fresh perspectives.
You make a valid point, Sarah. But we can't rush into this decision. We need to weigh the risks and consider all our options carefully.
Of course, Matthew. I'm not suggesting we dive in blindly, but I truly believe that involving our sons in the business could be the best thing for them and for us.
Well, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to give them a chance, after all. We've always believed in dreaming big and seizing opportunities.
Exactly, Matthew. Together, we can turn our dreams into reality and build a legacy that our sons can be proud of.
All right, Sarah, let's do it. Let's give our boys a shot at greatness and see where this journey takes us.
That's the spirit, Matthew. Here's to new beginnings and endless possibilities. The joy of learning, a conversation at the library. Well, hello there, Matthew. What brings you to the library today?
Hi, Sarah. I'm on a mission to expand my mind. Just like my old man. So, I'm here to borrow a few books to dive into.
Following in your father's footsteps. I see. That's wonderful. What subjects are you interested in?
Oh, a little bit of everything. History, science, literature. I've got an insatiable curiosity, and I'm always eager to learn something new.
That's the spirit. There's nothing quite like the thrill of discovering something fascinating within the pages of a book. Now, let's see what we have here.
Say, Sarah, do you have any recommendations for me? I'm open to anything thought-provoking or mind-bending.
Well, since you're interested in history, have you ever delved into the works of David McCullough? His books are like time machines, transporting you back to pivotal moments in the past.
Ah, McCullough. I've heard great things about his writing. Thanks for the suggestion, Sarah. I'll definitely check out his works.
You're welcome, Matthew. And remember, if you ever have any questions or need assistance, don't hesitate to ask. That's what I'm here for.
Absolutely, Sarah. You're a treasure trove of knowledge. And I'm grateful for your help. Now, let's get lost in the world of books.
Today is February 26th, and I'm listening to the latest news. Economic roller coaster, analyzing forecasts and job cuts. Hey Matthew, have you heard the latest economic news? Apparently, economists have lowered their recession forecast to 40% based on its job growth expectations.
Really? That's quite optimistic considering the ambiguities we've been facing lately.
I know, right? It seems like they're banking on strong job growth to buoy the economy. But you know what they say about economists. They have a knack for being overly optimistic.
Ha, true that. It's like trying to predict the weather. You never know what's coming next.
Exactly. And speaking of job growth, did you see the list of companies cutting jobs this year? Google and Amazon, the big players, are slashing staff left and right.
Yep, it's a tough market out there, but hey, at least the cuts are expected to be smaller than last year, right?
Small comfort when you're the one facing the chopping block, though.
Fair point. It's a tough balancing act for these companies, trying to stay profitable while also keeping their workforce intact.
Absolutely. And let's not forget about the ripple effects on the broader economy. Job cuts can send shockwaves through communities, affecting everything from consumer spending to housing markets.
Couldn't agree more. It's a reminder that we're all interconnected in this economic ecosystem.
Well said, Matthew. Looks like we're in for a wild ride on this economic roller coaster.
Buckle up, Sarah. It's bound to be a bumpy one.
Expanding Horizons, CEO's morning strategy session. Good morning, Matthew. What's on the agenda for today?
Good morning, Sarah. I've compiled a list of potential small companies for acquisition to expand our global reach. Additionally, we need to delegate tasks to our managers for smoother operations.
Interesting. Let's dive into the details. Which companies are we eyeing for acquisition?
Well, I've identified a few tech startups in emerging markets that could complement our existing portfolio. Acquiring them would give us a foothold in those regions.
Sounds promising. And what about delegating tasks? Any updates on that front?
Yes, I've drafted a plan to distribute responsibilities among our management team. It should streamline decision-making and enhance efficiency.
Excellent. Now, let's talk about my schedule. I want to make time for reading together. It's a great way for us to stay sharp and aligned.
Absolutely, Sarah. Reading sessions have been incredibly insightful in the past. It's a fantastic idea to continue that practice.
Wonderful. All right, let's get to work. As they say, the early bird catches the worm.
Indeed, Sarah. Let's make today count and keep the momentum going.
Morning Banter, CEO and Assistant Chronicles. Good morning, Matthew. Ready to tackle the day?
Morning, Sarah. Always ready to take on whatever challenges come our way.
Excellent. Let's dive into our agenda. What's the latest on our expansion plans?
Well, Sarah, I've been crunching the numbers, and it looks like we have some promising opportunities to acquire smaller companies in key markets. It's all about strategic growth.
I like the sound of that, but let's not forget about delegating tasks effectively. We need our managers to be on top of their game.
Absolutely, Sarah. I've already drafted a plan to distribute responsibilities among the team. We'll ensure everyone knows their role in the grand scheme of things.
Perfect. Now, let's talk about my schedule. I've got a lot on my plate today, but I definitely want to make time for our morning reading sessions. It keeps our minds sharp and our ideas fresh.
Of course, Sarah. I've got a few interesting titles lined up for us, and don't worry. I'll take care of all the logistics. You just focus on being the visionary leader you are.
You always know how to butter me up, Matthew. But seriously, I appreciate all that you do. You're like the Robin to my Batman, the Chewbacca to my Han Solo.
And you're the Layla to my Luke, Sarah. We make a great team.
Agreed. All right, let's dig into breakfast and fuel up for the day ahead. Remember, eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a pauper.
Wise words, Sarah. Let's feast.
Lunch with the boss, getting to know Matthew. Good afternoon, Matthew. Thanks for joining me for lunch today.
My pleasure, Sarah. Always happy to spend some time with the boss outside the office walls.
So, let's dive right in. I'm considering you for a high-level managerial position within the company. But before we move forward, I'd like to get to know you a bit better. Tell me about your family.
Well, Sarah, I come from a small town in the Midwest. I've got a loving wife and two energetic kids who keep me on my toes. Family means everything to me.
Family man, huh? I like that. Now, let's talk about your career path. How did you end up here?
It's been quite the journey, Sarah. I started out in sales, worked my way up through management roles, and here I am. I've always believed in hard work and seizing opportunities when they arise.
Admirable qualities, Matthew. Now, let's lighten the mood a bit. What do you do for fun outside of work?
Oh, typical stuff. I enjoy hiking, playing guitar, and trying out new recipes in the kitchen. And of course, spending quality time with my family.
Sounds like you've got a well-rounded life, Matthew. Alright, one last question before we dig into this delicious meal. If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be?
Well, tough question. I think I'd have to go with Abraham Lincoln. His wisdom and leadership during challenging times have always fascinated me.
Interesting choice. Alright, let's dig in and fuel up for the rest of the day. Remember, a full stomach makes a happy heart.
Couldn't agree more, Sarah. Bon appetit.
The magic of art, its vital role in modern society. Well, folks, today we're diving deep into the enchanting world of art and its significance in our modern lives. Now, let me tell you, art isn't just about pretty pictures and sculptures. It's like a magical potion that brews emotions, stirs thoughts, and shapes our society in profound ways.
Hold on a minute, Sarah. While I appreciate art as much as the next person, I'm not convinced it's as pivotal as you claim. Sure, it's nice to look at, but does it really have that big of an impact on our daily lives?
James, you're missing the forest for the trees. Art isn't just about aesthetics. It's a healer, a nurturer of our mental well-being. Did you know that engaging with art can alleviate stress, boost creativity, and even improve emotional intelligence?
Well, I'm not so sure about that. How can looking at a painting or listening to music possibly affect our mental health?
My friend, let me enlighten you with a quote from Vincent van Gogh. I am seeking, I am striving, I am in it with all my heart. Art speaks to our souls, stirring emotions buried deep within us. It provides solace in times of distress, offering a refuge from the chaos of our minds.
Well, I suppose I can see where you're coming from. But what about its role in the workplace? How does art shape company culture?
Now we're onto something. Picture this: a dull, uninspiring office space versus one adorned with vibrant artworks and creative installations. Which one do you think fosters a more positive and productive work environment?
Point taken, Sarah. I guess art does have its place in the corporate world, after all.
Absolutely. It stimulates innovation, encourages out-of-the-box thinking, and fosters a sense of community among employees. Plus, it adds that extra sprinkle of magic to an otherwise mundane setting.
All right, Sarah, you've made some compelling points. Perhaps I've underestimated the power of art in our lives.
James, as they say, the purpose of art is washing the dust of daily life off our souls. Let's embrace the magic of art and let it weave its wonders in our lives. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Best wishes for a bright and successful future. See you next time for more free and outstanding videos.